What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Baseball Goombas. Today is March 25th, 2018. This is our third podcast episode. John here with Chris, as always.
Chris Goomba.
We're going to do our usual Mets-Yankees talks, and actually at the end of the show, we're going to be doing just basically who we think our NL and AL MLB sleeper teams are. But first,
That should be fun, John Goomba.
Leading off with the Mets, it should be. Get a little outside the box with the rest of the league. Final rotation's really kind of set for the Mets now. It's Noah, DeGrom, Harvey, Matz, and Lugo. Looks like he won the fifth spot in the rotation.
He was dealing.
Yeah, Vargas looks like he's going to be out 1 to 2 weeks with that hand injury. Montero, torn UCL, so he's going to be done for the year. Looks like Gesellman's going to be expected to be in the bullpen, which I wanted him in the rotation, but I'm not upset. I did say that I felt like him and Wheeler would be the best fit for a bullpen spot.
Wheeler really went downhill this spring.
He really didn't improve much.
So,
he struggled basically every start. So
no problem with him going to AAA.
Me, I actually like the fact that he's going to AAA. I like that they're keeping him extended. I don't want,
just in case the injury bug strikes.
What you will. Let's be honest. It's just New York Mets baseball.
Of course. Matt's made the rotation, so.
So I like the idea that they're
ticking time bomb waiting to happen.
They're keeping him extended, and I didn't want to just shorten up all our starters just to have him on the squad. So I like that he's going to be thrown in AAA. Maybe he'll work on fine-tuning a couple things because he will need to, just because of the rough spring he had.
I got no problem with the Mets rotation. I previously stated that Seth Lugo dealt pretty well in spring this time around, and he was serviceable last year. So, the Wheeler demotion and the Montero injury open up a spot for Lugo, and let's see what he has to offer.
Lugo deserves it. He did very well in spring training. I feel like he dominated basically every performance he had. So
unfortunate that Vargas got hurt. I would have liked to see him in there.
He would have made the rotation easily. He'll
be back.
Shoo-in for that 4 spot. And I actually think Matz would have been in AAA if Vargas was fine, and you would have Matz and Wheeler in AAA and Lugo on the 5th spot.
Minor setback for Vargas. Yeah. He'll be all right.
Just so as we get closer to opening day, also the 25-man roster is really narrowing down. One thing I would have really liked to see, because I'm really getting tired of him, is fan favorite Jose Reyes.
Rayo?
Big
Rayo.
Big Reyes.
Jose Rayo.
I've said it before. I don't think the Mets would have won the 2016 wild card without him. But I feel like he's really gone downhill. He's 34 years old, and his career is just not where it used to be. I've also just never been a Reyes just because I feel like he's a very selfish ball player. When you look back at...
Because he's used to playing every day, and now he's not playing every day.
So that... He's kind of accepted it now because the Mets saved his baseball life. But when you go back to 2011, when he won the batting champ, he pulled himself out of the game so he could win the award. He led off the last game of the year with a single, and then he pulled himself out of the game just so he can solidify the personal award. When you look at players like Ted Williams...
That's pretty weak. Was
hitting 404 going into the last game of the year. And what did he do? He played, went 2 for 3, and ended with a 406. That's why he's Teddy Ball Game. All right? That's why he gets the nickname Teddy Ball Game, because he's a ball player, and he goes out there and he fights.
But Jose Reyes is Jose Rayo. Yeah.
So, also, why I'm not a fan of Reyes is he actually chose Miami money over the New York Mets. And he wanted that 6-year, $100 million contract, and he went head down to Miami, and he was living the life. Little did he know they would trade him after a season to Toronto, and then later he bounced to Colorado, where he was miserable. He was miserable there, and
I believe that
he didn't know what had happened to his career. He was a Met, he was a Marlin, he was ready to just finish his career in Miami, and then he got bounced around real quick. Then comes the domestic abuse charges in 2015, and his baseball career is over. Looks like it's over. So, but then here come the New York Mets.
Here come the Mets. I was exactly going to say that.
2016. All of a sudden, now he's Mr. Met again. Now he's all of a sudden, I'm comfortable in New York. I want to play baseball in New York. That's because we just saved your baseball life. All right, your career was basically, nobody was going to sign you. And I think that proved again this offseason when he sat there for a while. Nobody was even talking to you but us. When you look at numbers, though, when you look at what he did, I've never seen a player with a longer leash than Jose Reyes. The first half of the year last year, 73 games, he hit .215. He started 73 games and hit .215. Wow. Thanks. Really need to slow down there.
Although, as much as I guess I maybe enjoyed Reyes in his early stages, a little speed demon, respectable. 246, 15 home runs, 58 ribbies, 24 stolen bags last year.
I know he had a better second half.
It's not terrible.
I just think that for me the Reyes act is old.
It is old.
It's
very old.
dancing in the field.
Listen, I'm tired of it myself.
You're 34 years old. You're not the player you once were. From 2005 to 2008, you stole 50 plus bases every year, and last year in 145 games, you stole 24 bases.
It's okay, but
I would rather see the younger kids get a shot, and then Reyes. You have. I understand that you can put Reyes at short,
right? I was
second and a crappy third.
Multiple positions. He's spelling Rosario, spelling Cabrera, Flores. It's good depth to have. You know what you're getting out of him. I think.
But what you have on your bench already is you have Cabrera that could play second, short, and third, and you have Wilmer Flores that could play every infield position. So I would have rather liked to see Gavin Cecchini get a shot, who could play second and short. He drafted him in the first round. So no errors in 22 career games. I like to see this kid actually get a true shot coming off the bench. Another thing, one is would not trade Matt Reynolds. I would have liked to see Matt Reynolds on the field more than I want to see Jose Reyes. Or you can give Phillip Evans a chance, who's played second and his main position is third.
So Phillip Evans has had a good spring.
He has.
Let me just throw this at you. In a game situation, late in the game, you know what Jose Reyes brings to the table. He brings speed, athleticism. He can impact the game at any moment. What do you have in Evans? What's the trade-off there?
So you really don't know. I feel like he's probably just got a little more power than Reyes. Obviously, he doesn't have enough speed, but I just want to see what these kids have. He's 34. He's over the hill, and he's hit 190 in spring. So he's starting right where you left off, even worse. I just think the Jose Reyes. He's just. When I watched the spring training game earlier in the year, there was a fly ball to center that Reyes hit. Center fielder lost the ball on his eye, and Jose Reyes winds up on second base. So he batted second that game. So now you're a man on second. Your third batter's up, and there's one out. What does he do? Tries to steal third and gets pegged. I'm sick of Jose and his dumb decisions and his selfishness to pad stats. I'm tired of him. And I'd rather see Cecchini, one of these young kids, really try to fight for a spot.
Some of that, I think, for Reyes, his selfishness is being a tenured Met. He bounced around Toronto, Colorado, but I think being a tenured Met, he's got some leeway. I would personally, again, you know what you're getting with Jose Reyes. He plays multiple positions. Can he adjust and adapt by not playing every day this season and getting at-bats? 125 plate appearances maybe this year. Okay, that's acceptable. But if he plays what he did last year, what did he get? He played 150 games, almost 150 games. That ain't gonna happen. The Mets are not going anywhere with that. Let's just be honest with that.
With the Met up, he's definitely not going to be starting anywhere, barring any injuries. But
so Cecchini last year, AAA hit 267, 6 home runs in 110 games. He's got Rosario, Cabrera, Flores ahead of him. Todd Frazier now ahead of him. Shortstop his whole life. He's learning second base. He's learning third base. The more he can do, the more chances he'll get around the diamond. Yeah. He's only 24 years old. I don't really know much about him. I don't know much about this guy, but he was a first-round pick in 2012, so the Mets, I guess they like him for a reason. Yeah. High hopes for him. The past 2 years with the Mets, he's hit 217 in 36 games. Yep. So his offensive juggernaut is not looking too sweet.
I know he hasn't done well.
So he needs to improve offensively.
He does, but again, he's young, and I just would feel like you get better when you're up here. And if you 217, tell me Reyes ain't gonna hit that.
No, it's true. I agree with that. But the Mets shop for infielders all winter long. So what does that tell you about Cecchini? Is he in their future plans?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, Ahmed jumped him really quick to be the future at shortstop. You know, once they got Ahmed, they said this is the guy, and Cicchini was forgotten. So.
Cicchini's had to bulk up, and I read about his attitude problem that he didn't want to work on his swing and do any video. So, you know, talk about selfish.
Egos in baseball.
Egos in baseball, you can't. As for Evans, again, I have really, if I'm being honest, I have no idea who this cat is because he just popped out of nowhere.
He did pop out. Well, he came up a little bit last year, but that's really all you've seen of him.
You mentioned last year, in 19 games, he hit 303. In this spring so far, 286, a couple of home runs and 7 ribbies. Yeah. So he's shown some offensive force with the bat. He's fighting. He's fighting. Yeah. So he can apparently he plays everywhere.
But he's a true backup at third, which the Mets haven't had. They just haven't had. I mean, when you look at who we've trotted out at third base between Danny Muno, you know, and T.J. Rivera, who I love T.J. Rivera, but he's not a third baseman. We just struggle defensively at third base. Jose Reyes playing practically on the outfield dirt when he plays third base because he needs the room. It would be nice to have a true. I mean, you have it in Frazier, but a nice true backup third baseman in Evans.
I think if given the shot, Phillip Evans' consistency, I guess, is the key. Can he keep that bat going all season long? Michael Conforto, he's looking like he's on the fast track to making the squad, but they just announced today, actually, the Mets announced today that he's starting the DL, which I don't believe is going to be a long time. I think he'll be right back with the squad, manning the outfield
he's doing it
in no time. So with this Evans making the roster, once Conforto's back, he's going to be shipped down, no?
He will be shipped down. Absolutely. That's why I would like to fill it with Cicchini and Evans.
Right. I hear you.
But you know, going back to Conforto, the fact that he was raking the minor league games, he DH'd the Grapefruit League game, and then he started playing in the field. I would have liked to see Jay Bruce getting a few reps at first base because I'd hate to see Nimmo become the odd man out real quick, especially if he starts the season off strong. Excuse me. You know, Adrian Gonzalez coming back from that back injury, and you know, backs are tricky. You know, no one knows if they'll heal properly, and players tend not to. You just
he's getting older.
David Wright. You know, I mean, backs are tricky, and he's getting older. You know, he had 242 in 71 games last year. He's always been a consistent ball player, which is nice to see.
Gonzo has been. I loved Gonzo in the Dodgers.
Yeah, he was a tough out during the NLDS when we faced him a couple of years ago. Him and Turner were really tough outs, and that's what you want.
He's a professional ball player.
He is, but you know, looking at spring, he hit 214 with 1 home run. You have to wonder if this is the end.
Is he falling off with his career?
Is this the
he's
end
getting
of
older now. He's falling off.
And I'd hate to see either. Nimmo will be the odd man out. Let's be honest. And I'd hate to see Nimmo come out. Because you're not going to take out Bruce, and you're not going to take out Conforto, and you're not going to take out Cespedes. So
Nimmo's going to be the odd man out of that.
He's going to be the odd man out. So yeah, I hate to see him. You know, he plays. His personality and energy that he brings to the game is great. He's going to play great center field, and that leadoff, I feel like he can have a very high on base percentage, pushing 400. So I hate to see him be the odd man out just to accommodate an injury-ridden Adrian Gonzalez, and you don't know what you're gonna get at a Dom Smith with that lingering quad injury.
Lingering quad issue.
I mean, that feels like that's just not going.
What happened to him? He was supposed to be the second coming of Ryan Howard.
Yeah, well, I mean, he came up last year. He didn't really hit for average, but he hit for power, which was nice to see. But I think we wanted maybe a little 270, 280 average out of him. But I mean, the whole oversleeping. The first game of spring. He overslept and then just showed up late to the ballpark and then got scratched. I felt like Callaway hasn't given him a second look since then. And even though to see that he lost all that weight in the offseason, he worked hard, and for it to just slip away because of one mistake, I'd hate to see happen. But I mean, between the oversleeping and the lingering quad, I feel like Dom Smith's really not looking good to the coaching staff.
Definitely can't take Jay Bruce, out of the lineup.
Let him get some reps at first.
He's played a couple games at first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, not a lot of experience, but I mean, when he's been over there, he's been good. He's been serviceable. It's worth it not to take his bat out of the lineup.
No way.
I mean, pushing 40 home runs last year. I mean, it's something you really want in that lineup. You'll get your 250 and you'll get 100 RBIs out of him. Those are solid numbers. So I really just would hate for it to see him be the odd man.
Just like with Gonzalez, I've always liked Jay Bruce. He's a ball player.
He's a ball player.
You know what you're getting out of him, and I think he should, get some reps at first. Mm-hmm. I tend to agree with that.
You could have a stacked lineup if that's the case. You really could.
Cespedes, Conforto, Bruce.
Mm-hmm. Frazier. I mean, Frazier pushing the 5th spot. I mean, you're going to have a lot of power. I'll say that. You're going to have a lot of strikeouts, but you're going to have a lot of power.
Same thing with the Yankees.
Yeah. So Yankees.
Speaking of.
Yeah.
I want to get into Chris Goombas here, by the way. I want to get into Aaron Judge and these reports this past week about him leading off potentially experimenting leading off during the season against left-handed pitching.
Huge mistake. Huge.
Come on, guys. Listen.
This is bad.
Let's be real. I get it. I totally understand it. I really, really do. You want your best hitters to get as many at-bats in a game as possible. This whole analytics deal, I get it. I really do. Believe me. But explain to me what's wrong with Brett Gardner in the leadoff spot. Nothing.
He's a true leadoff hitter.
Right. Maybe I'm old school, but I want my sluggers batting in the 3 or 4 spots in the cleanup spot to drive in runs. I don't want Aaron Judge leading off a game with 1-0 with the whole game to go or striking out or already with 1 out. It's called cleanup for a reason. You clean up.
Yep, clean up.
Boom, 4-0. Boom, 3-0.
You know, the Mets did the same exact thing last year, and Conforto hit 6 home runs leading off a game, and every time he hit a home run, I was legit mad because all I saw were wasted RBIs.
Yes.
Thanks for 1-0. We still need to get 27 outs. It felt like you're losing runs by having him bat in the leadoff spot.
You don't see your Ken. Again, it's 2018. Great. But you don't see your Ken Griffey's. You don't see your Manny Ramirez's, your Jim Tome's, your Adam Jones's, your Albert Pujols's, your Carlos Delgado's batting leadoff.
Nope.
They're all sluggers.
Yeah.
They're not batting leadoff. They're batting 3rd. They're batting 4th. Judge last season versus left-handed pitching, 230, 8 home runs, 16 ribbies. Ooh, wow. Like, is that really a determining factor that we need this guy batting leadoff? Because he hit 230 with 8 home runs and 16 RBIs.
4.
Yeah. I mean, come on, guys. What? I know you're just experimenting, but he thrived. He thrived in the 2-hole.
He did. Crazy numbers in the 2-hole.
So last season, like I just said, not really eye-popping numbers against left-handed pitching. Last year, batting 2nd, 327, 13 home runs, 29 ribbies. Batting 3rd, 239, 17 home runs, 36 RBIs. You combine all that, he hit 30 home runs, 65 RBIs.
Yep.
2 and 3. But the 16 RBIs batting against left-handed pitching, there's enough to deter not batting him there.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
Clearly, he had success batting 2nd last year, and even 3rd. So why are you going to mess with it?
Yep.
Odd game away from the World Series last year.
And
now you're gonna screw it up.
Put 50 home runs in the leadoff spot.
Batting Judge leadoff is really going to put you over the top. Really going to put you over the top. The powerful lineup that the Yankees have right now is going to produce and turn over several times anyway throughout the game.
Yeah.
So whether he's batting 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, he's still going to get at-bats. He's still going to get opportunities. Guys will get their at-bats.
Personally, I would put Judge in the 2-hole just based on the numbers
from last year.
Yeah, you said the 327, and in the 3 and 4 spots, he had 239 and 219 respectively. Giancarlo, he batted in the 2-hole mostly last year, hitting 289 with 47 home runs and 97 RBIs. However, I would still go Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, just because I feel like Judge would benefit more than Stanton protection than Stanton would of Judge protection. I feel like Stanton's a veteran, and I think Sanchez is enough behind him, but I really think Judge would see more pitching more pitches would stand behind him.
I totally agree. Like I said before, if Judge is leading off a game against left-handed pitching, it can easily be 1-0, and it can easily be a whiff and a 1-out already.
Yeah.
Brett Gardner is a leadoff guy. He last year 266, 21 home runs, 70 walks, 63 ribbies. Respectable numbers.
Yeah.
Pete Rose, Tim Raines, Ricky Henderson. Those are your leadoff guys.
Yeah.
Okay, those are prototypical leadoff guys.
Brandon Nimmo.
Brandon Nimmo. Okay, Brandon Nimmo. Judge. Okay, he gets on base. 127 walks last year on base.
That's because they're scared of him.
Right. They don't pitch to him because they're scared of him.
So let him get on. No, now they got 2 runners on for Stanton.
He 127 walks, on base percentage 422. It's third. Last year was third in baseball behind Trout and Votto. Those guys leading off? No, they batted mostly second and third. They're not. These guys are not going to bat first. All this experimenting, but still. Relax, Boone. Don't come in hot because you want to impress the brass with your analytics. Yeah. Oh, come on, guy.
No, this is an easy decision. They've made this decision for you. Put these guys in the heart of the lineup. These 3 guys, Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, line them up and let them hit in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah, and let Brett Gardner lead off. What I do want to say real quick is now. If it does happen for a few games against lefties during the season, and I could very well sit here and look like an idiot and eat crow because look at last year with George Springer with the Astros.
I mean, but
he's a slugger. They won the damn thing.
It's fair.
Okay.
That's a good comparison.
Leadoff last year for George Springer, 284, 34 home runs, 84 RBIs. Okay, you got the job done. But it's the Astros. Up and down the lineup, they're ridiculous.
You have Evan Gattis batting 9th.
Yeah, Evan Gattis slugging his way. So
30 home runs batting 9th.
Again, I understand it, I get it, but let's just pump the brakes a tad with this Aaron Judge experiment. Let the guy bat second. Let the guy bat third. Let him drive in some runs. Again, it's the lineup is going to turn over anyway, so I guess we'll see what happens.
I don't disagree.
Greg Bird.
Yes, Greg Bird.
Enough. What is going on?
The ailments. He's the Steven Matz of the Yankees.
Yesterday, he was scratched from the lineup with right foot soreness, the same right foot where he had surgery on. He was sent for a CT and MRI scan and a revealed inflammation, and he's going to see a specialist on Monday. This guy's got potential, okay? He really does. He's got a sweet swing. He's got a good personality in the clubhouse. But enough already.
His power in that stadium, he could easily put 30 out,
I feel like it's always something.
It is always
The lefty
something.
can't manage to stay healthy.
He can't.
Is this foot issue a degenerative thing now, where it's going to be a problem throughout his career? He just can't get over the hump. It's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So, okay, he's still young. In his career, 227, 20 home runs, 59 RBIs. And he hasn't had a lot of games played because he's been hurt.
He's been hurt during those games,
so, what have we seen, really, from Greg Bird? That makes us be like, this guy is we need him. The Yankees need Greg Bird. We need him at first. Nothing, really. GM Cashman says he's worried. And I want to point out about a couple of quotes I read in the New York Post. Tyler Wade was quoted as saying, "I came in and he was already gone." Aaron Hicks was quoted as saying, "He was kind of out before I knew what was going on. It was pretty quick." To me, reading these quotes, now our teammates and brass starting to grow tired of his act with all these ailments. What the hell is up with this guy? So since 2015, he's totaled 48 total games.
Jeez.
He missed all of 2016.
Yeah.
So our teammates starting to get annoyed with this guy. And I don't blame him, really.
I don't blame him either. It's frustrating when you're relying on the player and he's never there. Especially when you're not going out to get another player because you're relying on them. Like the Mets relied on David Wright coming back for all those years before they finally got Frazier. How many years did we wait for David Wright to heal so we didn't go get a third baseman? The Yankees can make that same mistake here by just waiting for Greg Bird.
Yeah, I don't... Honestly, when you think of Greg Bird, okay, maybe it's just me, I don't know, but when I think of Greg Bird, you think of what he just did last year. Two different things in two different areas. A, he was memorable for his home run off Andrew Miller in that ALDS win over Cleveland, which the Yankees won 1-0, which his solo shot won the game in the 8th inning, I believe, maybe the 7th. Other than that, what's the other thing? Getting thrown out at home because he was too damn slow.
He got bashed for
against the Astros.
He got bashed big time for his base running in that game by the analysts.
So again, maybe it's just me, but when you think of Bird, you think of those two things, and it just happened last year. One good thing, but a solo shot. Okay, great.
I think being thrown out was a huger blow. That was huge. You guys, you needed that run. That was a huge run.
Okay, yeah, and he gets Mr. Slowpoke gets thrown out.
Yeah. So one thing though. So saying Greg Bird isn't healthy, would you rather see Tyler Austin at first and Neil Walker at second, or Wade at second and Neil at first?
That's what I was just going to get into.
Oh, beat you to it.
Good job, John.
Thanks.
So, ultimately what it means, if he's sidelined and he's not healthy, personally, I would like to see Neil Walker play first and give Tyler Wade a shot at second.
Interesting.
What I think they're going to do is first base split between Neil Walker and Tyler Austin, and shift Tyler Wade over to second base, and with Neil Walker
so kind of like
getting
a split.
Yeah.
Like a split of it.
What I did read the other day was they're thinking about down at AAA, Andiar playing third base and getting some reps at first base. So now he's starting to experiment with Andiar playing first.
I don't like that.
I don't know.
I'm getting tired of messing with guys' positions that they're not comfortable with. I understand taking a shortstop or a second baseman and letting them play third, short, and second. I feel like those go hand in hand as like left, center, and right would. But I hate when you take those infielders and you start putting them at first, or you put them in the outfield. They're not familiar with these positions. There's a lot that go into these positions that they have not learned through the course of their life.
Yeah, and he's very young.
I don't like moving them into foreign positions. I don't like that, especially a young guy like that. Yeah.
What I do think the Yankees did well was all these debt signings that they made, because now they covered Greg Bird, not if he's unhealthy. Yeah. So these signings look pretty good now. But I guess you had to predict that, because Greg Bird, strep throat, he's out for the season. He's got a hangnail and he's done for 3 weeks. So yeah, unfortunate again, but is it time to start realizing that maybe Greg Bird is not Greg Bird, is not the guy we thought he was going to be? I guess that's something we need to figure out, and I hope they do it soon, because again, you don't want to wake up and have your eye irritated from your contact lenses being in too late. So, okay, let's move away from the
Mets and Yankees.
Mets and Josh Yankees, and with the season being coming up soon,
Thursday.
very, very, very soon,
Thursday.
which I'm so excited.
Let's do it.
Let's have a little fun, real quick, a couple of minutes. I want to get into 2 teams, sleeper teams that could surprise this season.
Yep.
I'm going to say mine, and then John Goomba over here will get into his sleeper teams. So, in the National League, I'm going to start with the NL. My team that I think could surprise people, the Philadelphia Phillies. And no, not just because they signed Jake Arrieta.
Or Carlos.
Or Carlos Santana. But speaking of which, Carlos Santana's got some pop. I've always liked him.
He'll hit 30 home runs in that stadium.
Right, yeah, he can mash. He can mash.
Especially in Philly.
So with Carlos Santana, couple that with Hoskins, with his insane home run rate,
Yeah.
I like Hoskins. He can, mud on the knee. It's his second year now.
He broke last year.
They dealt Freddie Galvis to San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
That opens a spot for J.P. Crawford, getting a chance to play every day. Supposedly, he's pretty good.
Top prospect.
They added the bullpen, Pat Neshek and Tommy Hunter. 2 good arms. Hector Neris was a closer last year. There's no problem with him. So you add Jake Arrieta to Aaron Nola, who's a budding star. And if Arrieta, I guess from his standards, he had a down season last year with the Cubs. But if he can get back to elite status, that's a pretty good rotation.
Yeah.
Vince Velasquez
needs to stay healthy.
He needs to stay healthy, but he's got talent.
He's
and you got rookie manager Gabe Kapler. Let's see what he's all about.
Yeah.
Maybe he can provide some spark.
And they have Kingery lingering in the
And they got Kingery lingering in,
so
who's supposed to be the next second coming of Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah, they're very high on him.
I like him.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Rockies, but I don't know. I feel like I say it every year. I'm just waiting for them to.
Well, I'm going to say it this year.
You're going to say it? Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Well, first off, when I was looking into this, I wanted to say the Brewers because they made huge pickups in Yelich and Kane. However, when looking at their roster, it's not enough. I don't feel like they did enough to the rotation. I don't see Chase Anderson had a good year.
Yeah, they surprised last year.
But I just don't see Chase Anderson and Zach Davies as a 1-2 punch.
That's
not going to cut it.
I don't think it's going to cut it either.
Sounds weak.
I agree with you. Brewers, they could be good, but I don't think the rotation
surprised everybody last year.
Yeah.
I remember looking at their opening lineup, and then who knows?
The lineup was very good.
Fames was gonna just go on a tear. Shaw, they had a good lineup that nobody really
Fame's
knew.
only against the Reds, hitting all of his 30+ home runs against the Reds. But yeah, I don't think the rotation is that deep and is it.
It wasn't enough for me. But so for the Rockies,
so who's your NL team again? The Rockies.
The Rockies. They loaded up the pen. They brought in Wade Davis to close out.
I like Wade.
And they went out and got Brian Shaw from Cleveland, who was at Cleveland last year. They also have Mike Dunn, who I'm a big fan of from last year too. So I like those 3 guys loading.
Former Yankee, I think. Mike Dunn.
Yeah, I think he started with the Yankees.
Yeah, I think so.
More known for the Marlins.
Yeah.
But those 3 guys at the back end of your bullpen, I like. You got a healthy Ian Desmond this year who can put it
on
the bullpen. Yeah.
Especially in Colorado.
I'm very high. Chris knows this. I'm very high on David Dahl.
Oh my God.
He missed all 27.
That's a joke, by the way. That's a joke. I'm not very high on David Dahl. Okay.
I am. He missed all of
Why?
2017. He's lurking in AAA. He's kind of a forgotten man because he missed all last year. But in 2016, he hit .315 in 63 games. The guy can rake. And in spring, he's hitting .274, and he's already got 5 home runs. So this guy, he had a back injury, which kept him out of the. Again, I'd say with Adrian, you never know what about back injuries, how players can come back from them. But I felt like 5 home runs in spring shows that it's really not bothering him. So I know Cargo's got the spot now, but I feel like we're going to see David Dahl very soon, and he can really make an impact for the Rockies lineup. Other than that, the rotation, you have Gray at the top.
I love John Gray.
John Gray's solid.
Yes, pitching in Colorado. Okay, I get that. But John Gray's he's a real deal.
Yeah.
He's a budding star too, just like Nola with the Phillies.
Yep.
I think John Gray can have a hell of a year.
Other than that, Tyler Anderson, not too keen on.
Sorry to interrupt, but they shipped Tyler Chatwood. He's not on the squad anymore.
No.
I think he went to Chicago. I'm pretty sure he went to Chicago.
Cubs, yeah.
He's not that bad, but it's a big loss, I think.
Yeah. But behind that, you have Marquez, Chad Bettis, Kyle Freeland. But what I like to see is behind that, you have Jeff Hoffman, young star.
He came up for a few games.
And you have Senzatella, who just missed throwing a no-hitter last year.
Right.
So they actually have
a
decent amount of depth in their starting rotation. But what I really like to see, a Colorado rotation who's always going to struggle just because you're in Colorado, that they built the bullpen to help those starters. Yeah. They didn't have that last year.
Wade Davis,
lineup stacked. We all know that. Everybody's going to hit 400 just because it's Colorado. But I just like that they had built their pen to help their rotation. I'm not saying they're going to win the West. I don't think they will. I think the Dodgers got that. But I think they could slip into a wild card spot. I really do.
They get DJ LeMahieu. He hits 300. I mean, he's 200 hits and 180 of them are singles.
Yeah, but he's a simple ball player, but he gets on base.
Yeah,
Go ahead for the American League.
For the American League now. I like it. I like where I'm going with this. The Oakland A's. Okay.
No, I like it too.
The Oakland A's.
I do. Fowler.
All right. I like it. I like it. Let me just tell you why. First, which I forgot, by the way, but they signed outfielder Stephen Piscotty from St. Louis.
Yep.
He no scrub.
No, he just had a lot of personal problems last year with family.
He can hit.
And moving back to the West Coast, I think was a decision that he also wanted.
I think it can resurrect his career being there.
He can, yeah.
Matt Chapman, excellent third baseman, one of the best defensive third basemen in the league.
Yep.
He's only 24. Last year, 785 OPS, which is above league average.
Yeah.
He's only going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Couple that with Matt Olson. Good glove. Offensive juggernaut in the making. 189 at-bats last year, 24 dingers. It's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Couple that with Chris Davis, who's good for 40 home runs, maybe a 215 average, but he's good for 40 home runs.
Yeah,
the rotation, a little shaky. You got Mania, Graveman, Triggs, Jesse Hahn, and Dan Megnan. Shaky, but it has potential. Can surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
So if the rotation can resemble respectable numbers and you can get by, I think
they got the offense.
I think the Oakland A's has the offensive power to surprise some people. And in the same division, I was going to say the Angels, and not just because they got Ohtani,
who's struggling big time.
Yeah, but Mike Trout, he's coming back. He wasn't fully healthy last year.
No,
with a slide and broken finger. But I'm sticking with the A's. I like the A's. I really do.
They got some kids coming up too. Yeah. You don't know if you'll see. They have Fowler.
Fowler.
Yeah. So there's a couple kids that you might see throughout the course of the year that could help them out too.
And the Angels signed Ian Kinsler, by the way.
Did. Yeah, they did.
So the Angels could push, but
it's a piece. Again, rotation is.
Yeah,
would be
I'm sticking with
the Angels.
Garrett Richards can never stay healthy. Throws one pitch, he's out. But hit him with your sleeper pick there, John.
Mine would be the Minnesota Twins. I like their rotation really rounds out well now with Odorizzi and Lance Lynn, the 3-4. I like that they have now 4 solid starters.
Barrios.
I believe Gibson's behind that at the 5th spot. Barrios,
I think he could break out.
He can be filthy. The way his ball moves is disgusting sometimes. But they also added Rodney to close, so they really added some.
Can shoot his arrows,
but that means he's got to save.
Fair point. That's a very fair point. The shooting arrows may be annoying, but that means they won the game.
Yeah. And also, what's really nice to see about the Twins is Buxton proved he could put the ball in play last year. He wasn't hitting 180 anymore.
I think Buxton's a budding star.
Yeah, and if he could finally
put it all together,
put that out, keep that average at a respectable 250. I mean, they'll live with that as long as he keeps bringing the platinum glove with him. They won the platinum glove last year.
Yeah. Not the Twins. Same thing with the Brewers. It's kind of the same team. They can.
Yeah.
Well, Twins obviously have better pitching, but as for the lineup, it's very similar lineup.
I think Twins are also
a
wild card team, but I think they can win the first spot.
I like the Twins.
Yeah.
But nice picks. Picks. Again, I'm pretty excited about my Oakland A's.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to it, but hold me to it.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Hold me to it, please do. Here we go. I mean, the season is days away. Who is ready?
Next podcast, we're gonna have
the next podcast. The season will have started.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're gonna have some either good things to talk about or bad things about the Mets and Yankees.
Good things about the Yankees. I don't know about the bad things about the Mets. Just kidding. But that's about it, guys. So thanks for listening. Be sure to check out next week's episode, like we just mentioned. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, our iTunes, SoundCloud.
Yep.
Give the Goombas a follow, please, on our Twitter, @WeAreTheGoombas.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So, Goombas gone. Salute.